everybody. Welcome to Talking Disney the Classics. This is the show where we talk about one of the Disney canon films and we give our thoughts about it, and it's really fun. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. Stanford is here.
Hi there.
Yes, and today the random number generator gave us Make Mine Music.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm really excited to talk about this package film. And with this package film, I have to say, this is one, if people ask me what is an underrated Disney film, this is one of the films I usually recommend. Because I think that it is the most experimental of all of the package films. And I think you could make an argument it might be the most experimental, period of the canon films.
Yeah, I agree.
It really feels like them going in and getting all the sloppy seconds from all the animators and just kind of putting it all together.
And we've got to get a feature together.
Yeah. And on one hand, I can definitely see why people might say that makes it a mess. But on the other hand, I feel like it's kind of fun. It's just very weird, and this really you don't see from Disney.
Yeah, I agree. It's really a weird film, and I can see how people would call it a mess. I'm with you on the experimental part. I think, it's rather inconsistent, but maybe that's part of its charm. Yes, too.
Right. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's just very random. Yeah. Inconsistent,
Exactly.
random. It's all over the place. It doesn't really have that much to do about music, except for a couple that do. So it's all just literally. It's all just sloppy seconds. That's the best way to describe it. Is that the war was going on? This is 1946, right in the heat of the war. And they spent 2 years kind of perfecting all these shorts, but they had a shortened limited staff at the time, that because everybody had been drafted and they were making shorts for the U.S. government and propaganda. And so then they just kind of pieced this thing together so that they could release it. And that's literally kind of what it is.
Yeah, it is interesting that they were able to put together a film, and I think that probably just lends, as you just aptly said, about its experimental nature, because I think rather than being able to create a full-on feature, they were able to do this and try some different things, and and I think because of the inconsistency and because it wasn't very successful, from what I've read, I think everybody was really grateful to start working on a more traditional feature again when Cinderella got put into production.
Yeah, definitely.
But still, it's definitely an interesting film, and people should watch it. I mean, if you're a fan of Disney animation, I think definitely it's something to check out. And we'll probably get more into this. It's sad that it's not on Disney Plus. I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons.
Yeah, what on earth? It is. I mean, because they don't have the Martins and the
McCoys.
They don't have that on it anyway. So that's the only one that's questionable.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't. I literally, after I watched it, so on Disney Plus, you can go to the help function on the browser, and then they have a feature where you can request a movie.
Oh, good.
And I went and put Make My Music out there, like they're going to listen to me. But still, I did, because I just thought they really should put it out there. Get it,
it makes no sense. There's nothing offensive in that main part.
Yeah.
At all. I mean,
yeah,
I guess
they pulled that one, which we'll get to, but
Casey's a little bit of a chauvinist, but not that. I mean, there's nothing. They should definitely release it on Disney Plus, and I mean, why not?
Yeah. I hope they do.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the package films are more longer features after this one, because then you have Melody Time, and you have Fun and Fancy Free, and you have Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and where this one is truly shorts, 10
Yeah.
shorts.
Yeah. 10 shorts.
Mm-hmm. So it's very unique. And I love shorts. I love talking about shorts. I love animated shorts. We did the UPA animated shorts in July, and that was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love shorts, animated shorts.
Yeah, watching shorts, I agree, is really fun, and it's fun. It's fun when they're Disney and there's some history.
Mm-hmm.
There's some history involved, and again, these, as you said, these are really all unique
Yeah.
and uh, you know, so experimental that you upon first glance, some of them you might not even realize that they were made at the Disney Studios.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's what makes it feel refreshing is that they are so
Yes.
different. Well, let's dive in. Like, so this came out in 1946, and the first short is The Martin and the Coys, and this is actually not on the DVD, which is the only way to watch it at this time. There's no Blu-ray.
There was a gold collection DVD. Is that the one you got too, Rach? Yeah. It came out, I think, like in 2000, 1999 or 2000.
Yeah, because the ad is still for the gold collection being VHS or DVD.
Right, and a new release every month.
That's right. And so they did not include this on that DVD, but it's available on YouTube. It was originally part of the feature. Martin's the Quiz is obviously based on the Hatfield and McCoy's story.
So the DVD only has technically 9 shorts,
right,
rather than the full 10 that were as part of the original feature.
Yeah. And so what are your overall thoughts about this short?
Well, I mean, it's bonkers. I mean, if you're familiar with the Martin, the whole premise, it's these 2 warring families, and dare I say, I mean, rednecks. I mean, is that rude? Is that how
I think they'd wear it with? I think they'd wear it with pride. It's these Appalachian families, and it's actually, if you there was a interesting, I'm not sure if it was Ken Burns or if it was just PBS who did it, but there was a documentary last year about the Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah,
it was pretty interesting stuff about how
this feud.
Yeah, and about how it was a way of kind of keeping this keeping the like stereotype of the Appalachians and the I don't know, it was very interesting. People should check it out. It made you see it in a different light than you might otherwise. But yeah, so this short, though, I mean, it's just so unpleasant.
It is. It's so pleasant, and there are probably more guns and bullets in this short than in any Disney feature combined. Who knows about leading out the war propaganda films, but I mean, it is bonkers.
It really is, and it's so cynical for a Disney film. It feels so cynical.
It is.
Even the ending is them spending. You think it's going to be saved because they've fallen in love and the families are united. And no, it's Grace is now beaten up on Henry, and then the people, the family, are cheering from up above.
Yeah. So
the feud continues.
Spoiler alert. So everybody in both families die. They kill each other. Except for a woman on, I think it's on the Coy side, and a man on the Martin side, or maybe I got that wrong. But anyway.
Yeah.
Still. So, but there's still characters, and so they're up in clouds across from each other, as these deceased spirits still fighting with each other and cheering on their particular family member, down below. And it's not cute. It's so cynical. It's so weird.
Like, you think that something like this would be a fable, trying to teach
Right.
kids something about, revenge or fighting or anger or something like that. But no, it's not. I don't know if they thought it was funny or what they thought, but
I was wondering too if they just thought, here's this story. Let's just go for the extreme as we can. The tone is so weird in it too, I thought, Rachel, because as I mentioned, there are more bullets flying between these two families than you can believe. And then, like, no wonder everybody died. And then when the man and the woman, meet and fall in love, there's this, I assume it's their wedding, right? Or whatever that's going on. I mean, it's cute, but it's like, it's kind of long too. Like all that dancing and stuff. It's like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
It just seems so out of place to me. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I mean, I guess it's Make Mine Music, so maybe that music is
Like,
good to
some
see.
music.
But I hate what I call the Disney insta love during this time period through, like, I don't know, you started to see it less in 80s forward. You didn't really see it very much, but the whole thing of the male character getting kind of hypnotized by the beauty of the female character.
Instantly.
And you literally see like them, and then they've become. I hate it in Jungle Book. I hate it in Fox and the Hound. I hate it here. I hate it whenever it's done. And I don't have a problem with love at first sight. I don't have a problem with love, obviously, but I hate that whole like, he's seeing the pretty girl, bat her eye, blah, 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 and all of a sudden he is completely incapable of making choices. I hate that. It's the worst. So I mean, they have that here bad.
It's the classic, like, Twitter pated, from Bambi, right?
Yeah,
I hate that sort of thing where,
I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the whole sort of the way that it kind of treats male characters and the way it treats female characters. Like, I like a little bit of character, a tiny bit, like a little bit of before they fall in love, and I don't know. I've never liked that whole thing of the hypnotized, the insta love with animated films, and I guess it's a little more passable in a short because you don't have like tons of time,
right?
Compared to feature film. Like Fox and the Hound is, I think, probably my least favorite version of that with what's her name, Trixie or whatever her name is. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Bat her eyes, bat. And, Todd's just been a total jerk. And so why is she behaving this way? What? And, yeah, it's frustrating. But anyway, the reason why it was censored from the U.S. release was because of the gun use, which is very valid.
Mention like more guns and bullets than you can even imagine.
There are probably 30 people that get killed in this.
Oh, at least.
and there's no like real, in a fable, you kind of learn something. Like I said, there's really no lesson here. It's all just kind of like,
there's no lesson, no real resolution. I mean, there's this wedding, but
I get cautionary tale, I suppose. I don't know.
I don't know. I wondered if clearly they would never put it on Disney Plus, but I wondered if they were to put it together, maybe for a film festival or something,
mm-hmm.
a little more focused on an adult audience versus a family audience, but and with some background, like Leonard Maltin or somebody.
Yeah.
Give you some background if they would ever show up. But it's one of those that's probably It's probably locked in the Disney vault and never to come out, except for some bootleg stuff on YouTube.
On YouTube. So Disney, if you're listening to this podcast, if you need someone to do introductions to your questionable properties, we're available.
Exactly.
Let us know.
Contact us. We'll do it. Harvey.
We're happy to help.
For sure.
But yeah, so this one, it's interesting. I can see completely why it is not part of
the
DVD.
No qualms about it. I mean, again, it would be nice just for just kind of like the film history purist in me that it's too bad that it's been kind of removed from the film, but still.
All right, well, let's move on and talk about Blue Bayou. So this is has music from the Ken Darby Singers, and it's pretty simple. It's about the bayou and the egrets, the white egrets. And originally it was part of Fantasia, and it was put to Clair de Lune. And you can find
Debussy's Clair de Lune, right?
Yeah, you can find the Clair de Lune version on YouTube.
Yeah, somebody put that together, and I wonder if it's truly the one. I mean, I think that I wonder if they just. I was noticing some of Stokowski's conducting, and it seemed like kind of offbeat. But
maybe so.
Anyway, that's just me. I who knows? But still, they did a very nice job.
Yeah.
It was fun to see both versions.
Yeah, which do you prefer?
Oh, Clair de Lune for sure. I don't really. It really changes the whole tone, and it's almost dreamlike. Mm-hmm. I think the way that they animated it too, it's so muted and understated and frankly slow. And maybe that's a bit of a criticism, but truly nothing happens other than they show the moon, they show some bird some reflection, and the bird flies. And that's it. But it's still with the Clair de Lune music, I thought it became more of a beautiful meditation about and just something beautiful with nature, and it really did fit the aesthetic of Fantasia,
Yeah, I think it fits definitely with Fantasia better. But yeah, like nothing happens in this, which I guess is fine.
That's fine.
But yeah, I think that this type of, I guess, big band type of singing that you have in the 40s, I feel like it does not hold up very well. Yeah. It just feels
definitely of the time period for sure.
It feels so cheesy and corny to today's ear. I feel like all of these bands.
Yeah,
and I guess there's something sort of nostalgic about that in a way, but it's not. It's just not my favorite. I mean, I guess the closest we kind of have to it now would be maybe like acapella music. Getting to see the Dapper Dans or something like that at Disneyland. But that kind of singing is just not very. I don't know. It just feels super cheesy. I can't think of another way to say it.
I hear you. I think it's just again so of the time period, and popular music of the era, and hence they decide to use it and then repurpose the short. It was interesting watching that YouTube version of it with the Debussy music. So watching the one that's on the DVD with the pop song, the 40s pop version. I just was thinking, okay, there's this reflection of the moon. I was like, how long are they going to show this reflection? And then, in fact, I'm dare I say, got a little bored, But then watching the Debussy one, the reflection had pulses with that worked with the music, and it made it again just more, to me, more beautiful and more meaningful. And truly became like a tone poem, like they were saying, like it gets introduced, versus the pop one, which I was like, okay, is it over? Is it over yet?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's just more, it's just better with that. I just don't love that kind of music. And
yeah.
I mean, this Ken Darby, he is very talented.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did, I guess, some of the vocals for the mayor in Munchkinland in The Wizard of Oz. And he won 3 Oscars and a Grammy. So pretty impressive as far
Yeah.
as, but I don't know, just something about that type of, I guess it's big band is the correct kind of name for it, but
Hmm.
that does not hold up very well. And I just prefer the classical music over this
Yeah.
type of singing. I do think that the use of the blues and the blacks kind of combined together are very pretty.
Oh, I think it's very pretty. And it almost looks like it has some kind of a filter or something on it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so muted.
Yeah.
There's some going on there, but which I found beautiful,
Yeah.
particularly with the Debussy one.
Well, and it's fun because you have the Blue Bayou restaurant at Disneyland
Yeah.
there. And have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, it's so great. You got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Someday,
fun.
someday I will
Yeah.
when it's open again.
I know. When you go back to Disneyland.
Because I've never been there. I haven't done very much of sit down in table service in Disneyland because I love so much of the snacks.
Yeah.
I usually get so full.
It's hard to go wrong. Yeah.
They're so good. I did last time I went to I can't think of the name. I went to one of the others last time I was in Disneyland. But yeah, I've never been to Blue Bayou. And yeah, I guess the last few times I've been to Disneyland, I've been by myself, and so it seems like more of a place to go with,
Right.
people.
When you're with someone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fun. I think I think you'll enjoy it when you go.
Well, we should go when Disneyland opens and it's safe.
Oh my gosh.
We should go.
Gotta get Disneyland open when it's safe. I know.
All right. So then we have all the cats join in. This is the Benny Goodman Orchestra, and I just much prefer this over the singing.
Yeah,
just the orchestra.
I agree.
So this is really fun, and
this one's really fun.
It starts out as a pencil sketch, and it moves and flows. It kind of reminds me of the Bahia, I think it is.
Yeah.
On I think that's in Three Caballeros.
And so rather than a paintbrush, they're using a pencil
Mm-hmm.
and it's really a fun touch, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And this one and the next one, which we'll be talking about, almost looks like a UPA style.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Yeah,
it's just about like teens getting ready for a dance or sock hop.
Teens going to the ice cream shop and having it, and
mm-hmm.
playing music on the jukebox and having a dance, and it's really high energy and very, very simple. The animation, the character animation is simple. The backgrounds are all monochromatic, and again, this fun use of a pencil line that stuff kind of gets drawn in as the action is happening. And I this is one I've always liked. I remember liking this, not only the first time I saw this package film, but I think often the segment's been used in other things. Like maybe it was, they pulled these shorts and then were used in other ways. Like maybe even as part of the Wonderful World of Disney TV show or something. I just know it's one that I've seen multiple times through my life outside of this, outside of Make My Music.
Yeah, and I just like the colors and the flow of it, and it's also pretty maybe notorious, I guess, for having having a little nudity.
There's a little nudity going on.
Woman getting out of the shower.
A little racy going on. But
that you certainly don't see in any other Disney films. That's for sure.
No.
So, that one's a fun one. And then we have Without You. And this is very Dolly-esque, this with sort of the melting trees,
Yeah.
which was a big influence on the Disney animators at that time, was Dolly, with things like Pink Elephants on Parade,
Yeah.
and a bunch of different sequences that you could see that influence from the surrealism.
Absolutely. It seemed very, very surreal. The surrealism was very prevalent, and I also this one also reminded me of the UPA. It was almost like a happier version of the Raven. I thought it just as far as just some of the really interesting imagery that
Yeah.
was being used in the approach to it with again with the surrealism. I quite liked this one. I was quite taken with it.
Yeah, it's so the trees are kind of melting into the stars.
Yeah,
And it was beautiful. It was
and
definitely beautiful.
and that cathedral wall type thing, shows up, and also I felt like this one was really tailor made to the song.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the guy's like, for example, like when he's singing about a church appeared, or elements of the church appeared, and different things like that. Where I thought, okay, that more custom made approach worked better for me.
Yeah. So this was interesting. I looked up about this singer, Andy Russell was his name. And he was actually Latino, or Latinx, I guess is the proper term these days. But anyway, and he was a huge star. I mean, I would never guess that from a name, Andy Russell, and that he was that he had that background. And he was a huge star. He sold over 8 million records.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was like right up there, I guess, with at the time in the 40s with Sinatra and with some of these other people. And so I thought that's kind of interesting. And I thought he had a very, very pretty voice.
I liked his voice a lot too. And so that makes sense, that he was popular. And also, even though, one of the things I just feel about this package film overall is that even though some of the shorts are weird, it's weird, but Disney brought in like some really A+ talent, and particularly talent that was very popular in the from the time period, and so that's really interesting to know.
Yeah. So next up we have Casey at Bat, and this is the poem narrated by Jerry Colonna, and it starts out as kind of old-fashioned postcards, which I liked, and then it goes in and it starts out, you get to see all the different players, and so it takes a little while for it to get to Casey. Yeah, and Casey is an arrogant misogynist. Just he's the worst.
Total jerk. Jerk.
And so he goes up to bat. He's gonna save the day, and strike one, strike two, strike three, and then there's no joy in Mudville.
Yeah.
And so this one, I mean, I feel like there's more of a message. It's still pretty cynical, but I feel like obviously the message is don't be like Casey, don't be a jerk.
That's right.
Don't be arrogant.
Hey kids, don't be like Casey. I think this one has a really great style. I think it's way too long. And I think Jerry Colonna is fun, but I also don't really love like the script they gave him, and
it's just the poem, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true. He's just reading the poem, although there's a lot of like improv stuff, like, noises and stuff he's making because, he's just being Jerry Colonna, and because they drew it out so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe not so much a script, but just like how long they decided to make it.
Right.
And not my. I don't really love this one.
Yeah.
And you think I would because I'm such a baseball nut, but but it's just not my fave.
They do have in Magic Kingdom, they have Casey's Corner.
So
it's stamped on the parks.
Yeah, because it's of the time period, and that is fun.
So then we have two silhouettes, and this is Dinah Shore, and
And
it's
two ballet dancers, right?
yes,
Yeah.
two rotoscoped ballet dancers. It's David Lachine and Tanya Ryobanashkaya.
Well
Wow, that's a
done, Rach.
name.
I was gonna say I couldn't even attempt to say.
Woo! But they're in silhouette, and then Dinah Shore singing. And I bet you back in the day, this was probably one of the more popular ones, with her, singing and everything. But it's not my favorite style of singing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, and I mean, and yeah, it's okay. It's fine. But
I think that's okay too. I mean, clearly, the rotoscope. I thought the stylistically it was actually kind of interesting, and I thought Dinosaur was fine. Again, not necessarily my favorite, but I like this one better than I like the dude who sings the Blue Bayou song. But I guess not by much. But I did like it a little better.
they're about tied for me, I would
Are they
say.
okay?
Yeah, about tied. So all right. Then we have Peter and the Wolf. And
Yay!
so this is really special. I love Peter and the Wolf, and this is the classical music. This is the most musical of all the Make Mine music, because it literally informs the characters. And this is by Sergei
Koviev.
Prokofiev, and narration by Sterling Holloway. And each character is given a different instrument that is their instrument. So you have Peter is the string quartet, Sasha is the Sasha. So Sasha is the flute, Sonia is the oboe, Ivan is the clarinet, Grandpa is the bassoon, and the shooting of the hunter's guns by the kettle drums, and the evil wolf is the horns and cymbals. So yeah, I think this is very delightful. I really enjoy this.
Oh, I love this. I love this as a kid. I think you and I had corresponded in our getting prepped for this, that we both had been to the symphony as kids. Hearing this piece. I mean, clearly without animation. You're hearing it in the concert hall like it was originally intended. But I've always loved this. I think that the character animation is delightful. This is a total childhood favorite, and I love rewatching it.
Yeah. And I went, the Utah Symphony would have a kids' day, and they would do Peter and the Wolf, and they also did a Halloween day. I remember going to, where everybody was dressed up. Yeah, that was really fun. I think they did like Ghostbusters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and I think it was really influential in me, learning to enjoy that kind of experience.
Absolutely.
And, so I really have a fondness for this and for this short. And it's pretty simple, actually, as far as story goes.
Yeah, it's very simple.
It's just basically Peter and the friends and facing off against the wolf, back and forth, back and forth. It's almost like a Wile E. Coyote kind of, sort of speaking, a little bit. But yeah, it's all about the music in this case.
What's your take about Sterling Holloway's narration on this?
I like it. I think it's fun.
I like it too. I had read one critic saying that they found it incredibly detracting and distracting.
Oh, interesting.
And I mean, I can't say that I agree, because I just love Sterling Holloway's voice work so much, and I thought the way that they did it was charming and it worked. But then I was trying to imagine. I mean, I think also the way it was animated. I mean, they animated it so well. It could probably do without it too. I mean, it would probably still work, but I prefer it. I think I prefer it.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it charming as well. I like it, and I love the animation. I love the animation of the wolf. I think he looks so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you compare this wolf to the wolf in Sword in the Stone, For example, even though that was, decades later, this is so much better and so much, I don't know, it just has way more character. It's way better animated. And so I don't know. I think it's a great looking wolf.
Yeah, agreed.
And I like when he practically has like his whole entire mouth over Peter, and then they're like, "You might want to move there." He
I
says
know.
something like that. That's really funny. That's not a good
Yeah.
spot for you to be in.
Right.
Or with the duck, he catches the duck, and so yeah, this is you'll see where I've ranked, but I really, really do love this one.
Yeah, it's terrific.
So then they have After You've Gone, and this reminds me a lot of the Bumble Boogie from Melody Time.
Oh yeah,
That one.
absolutely.
And this is Benny Goodman and the Quartet. And this one I think is very charming. It's another one that's very musical for Make My Music. And it's basically just these musical instruments dancing, and they end up in a boxing match at the end. And it's just fun.
It's fun. I found it to be kind of very psychedelic,
Yeah.
and very avant-garde. I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really something. It's only 3 minutes long, but it's really pretty remarkable.
You can see a little of that Dollyism, I think, coming in here as well.
Absolutely.
With this one, and it's just fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, again, an instrumental piece, and which I thought really worked well, and I just felt like they just let the animators just go for it. Just because it's pretty crazy, but I think in a very entertaining way.
Yeah. So then we have Johnny Fedora and Alice Blue Bonnet, and this is our story of the hats that fall in love and then get separated, and they end up together on the heads of horses, and it's never like, why are the horses wearing hats? Like, what's happening?
I can't. This one really bugs to me. I've never liked this one,
No.
and I think part of it too is really long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the Andrews Sisters, but I just felt like it was too much of the Andrews
Yeah.
Sisters, and then they're the ones who sing who provide the vocals
Song.
for
Yeah.
the song for it, and also, I mean, in a way, it's kind of Disney, I guess, as real Disney realism, or it's pretty gritty, even though, I mean, we're talking about hats and personalities. But I mean, they're in the city, and the city's rough. I mean, this is not a happy place, and boy, these two have to go a lot until they're finally
and then they end up on the horses. It's so weird. Who puts hats on their horses? I've never seen that in my life. And and I don't know. It's kind of, I feel similar actually to the Blue Umbrella from Pixar, because I don't know, I just can't get invested in an umbrella. I can get invested in robots. I can get invested in I don't know, like other anthropomorphic things, but I can't get invested in umbrellas and hats falling in love. That's where I draw the line.
I support your rage. I didn't. I've always liked the designs of the hats.
Uh-huh.
I think that they look great, but
yeah,
I
the
sure
animation's
don't.
nice.
The animation is nice, but I sure don't care for the
Well,
story.
and I can't hear the Andrews Sisters without thinking of the North Avenue Irregulars when they're undercover and they start playing the Andrews Sisters instead of recording. I love that scene. And she's like, we don't even look like the Andrews Sisters. I love that movie.
I love that movie so
Very
much.
underrated film.
That's another one I requested on Disney Plus.
Oh, good. I need to request. I'll request it too. Everybody listening, request North Avenue Regulars.
Yes.
Disney Plus. Okay, so then we have the whale who wanted to sing at the Met, and this is Nelson Eddy, who is an incredible singer. He has such a beautiful voice, and This one is the most bonkers of all of the shorts. It might be the most bonkers short Disney's ever done, in my opinion. This thing is so nuts, and I love it for that very reason.
I love it too. It is so crazy. I mean, just the premise of it is nuts. But they make it work, and I think a big reason is because of Nelson Eddy. You know, Nelson Eddy does every voice in it. It's you know, it's almost like hearing a great book on tape. You know, where the person goes into all the different characters. You know, that's what Nelson Eddy's doing. He's not just like being the same one for every you know character. He really gets into it, and I'm with you. I love his voice, and it's a bonkers story. But like again, as much as I dislike Johnny Fedora, you know, and Alice Blue Bonnet, I like this one. I just think this is so. It's so charming, and it doesn't necessarily have a happy ending either.
Yeah. But, so they hear this mysterious voice in the ocean, and he hears, "I don't believe it. I don't believe it." And the scientists are all talking, and the experts can't explain it. "I don't believe it." And so then they go out and they rescue in quotations, rescue Willie the Whale. And they have him singing opera, and it looks so weird, like him standing up on his, you know, singing. It looks so strange, and then it just gets even stranger when you have him as the devil playing the part of all these in these operas.
Yeah, in these operas.
What? It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And they're and then they decide that the people end up killing Willie the Whale. And then they're like, "You see, kids, that people don't like beautiful things." And they killed Willie the Whale. There's like this narration, and I'm just like, what? What is that message? People destroy it. Beautiful things are dead. And there's a big sign on heaven that says "sold out." I'm like, what?
I know. And then Willie's up there performing it. You know, his whale spirit is up performing.
Like, what? I mean, I understand they were in a period of war, but still, like, you think that's the last thing that you would need to be like, "Death in heaven is sold out." The humans hate beautiful things, and they kill them. It makes me die. And you see Willie in the pink in the heavens and floating around.
Yeah,
it is the weirdest message, and it's so strange that I love it.
It's so strange, but I absolutely love it too. And yeah, the animation is great, and Nelson Eddy. You know, my mother loved the Nelson Eddy and Jeanette MacDonald romance movies, you know, from the 30s and the 40s that were popular in the 30s and the 40s. I don't know if you've ever seen some of those. They often play them on Turner Classic Movies, but you know, highly recommended. I don't think he was necessarily known for his acting, but he had a few picture deal at MGM, and the first film was made in 1935 with Jeanette MacDonald, who was also an opera singer, a female. You know, I mean, she was the.
What are they called again?
So the first one was called Rosemarie from 1936, and then there's Maytime from 1937.
Never heard of it.
New Moon from 1940. I think that's the one my mom liked the most. But Rosemarie. I think you'd recognize some of the music, and he has
a beautiful voice.
He's just got such a great voice. I mean, it's kind of one of those where, you know, the plot's just so stupid, but you're there for the music. You know?
Yeah, I think last time I was at Disneyland, I think it was in Pinocchio ride. I think there was a part of the, like, on the wallpaper there was a Willie the Whale thing as
You
part of.
know,
I remember seeing.
yeah.
I remember seeing somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I know it was in Fantasyland. Pretty sure it was there that they had a on the wallpaper. They had Willie the Whale and on there, and
It's like a little
so
Make My Music Easter egg in the
yeah,
Pinocchio
lives
ride.
on. The legend lives
Yeah,
on.
and I'm not sure if there's this attraction also in the Magic Kingdom in Florida called
Mhm.
Mickey's Philharmagic.
Oh
And
yeah.
well, actually, I think they're playing it now at Disney California Adventure Park,
Uh-huh.
where the Muppets Theater used to be.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like this 15-minute 3D movie that they
Hmm.
go into. They just do little reprises of some great Disney musical numbers, but it's the theme of it is you're going to into a concert hall, and so they've got these posters that are in the queue that are of Disney stars kind of playing some kind of famous theater role or something.
Uh-huh.
They're very clever, and I could have sworn that there's a Willie the Whale, one of those in that queue
Yeah.
too. But anyway, I
Interesting.
digress. Maybe one of your eagle eye awesome followers,
Yes.
could tell her I could have to do a Google search later, see if I can find one.
So we thought it would be fun for the end of this one to give our rankings of the 10 shorts. And so this can be fun. So I'll just give my 10 through 10 through 6, and then you
Okay.
can give your 10 through 6, and then we'll do the final 5.
Okay.
Okay, so my number 10 is Johnny Fedora and Alice Bonnet. And number 9 is the Martins and the Coys. Number 8 is Casey at Bat. Number 7 is Two Silhouettes. And my number 6 is Blue Bayou.
Rach, we are really close because as I picked the same 5, just in a slightly different order, but very close.
Yeah.
So my number 10 is the Martins and the Coys.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Johnny Fedora and Alice Bonnet. 8 is Casey at Bat, so same. And then 7, Blue Bayou. 6, Two Silhouettes.
Yeah, really close. Really close. Okay, so my number 5 is Without You. And number 4 is All the Cats Dance or whatever.
All the Cats join in.
All the Cats join in. And then After You've Gone, at number 3, I have Willie the Operatic Whale at 2, and Peter and the Wolf at number 1.
Okay. Yeah, again, pretty close. So 5 for me is After You've Gone. 4, Without You. 3, All the Cats join in. 2, Peter and the Wolf, and then number 1, the Whale, who wanted to see the Met. And it, frankly, was really hard. It was really hard to choose. Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know your ranking of the 10 shorts. That would be really fun. And we did get some comments on Twitter. So Munir Abradrabo says, it's an okay film, some good segments, some middling ones. The very definition of uneven. Even so, the fact that it's not on Disney Plus is baffling. So we agree. Matthew D. Klein says, I actually enjoy this package film. My favorite segments were Peter and the Wolf and the Whale one, even if both were sad towards the end. And Cameron Ward says, haven't seen it in ages, but I remember loving it. And Colin J96 says, I really like this package film. The whale segment is my favorite, even though it ends tragic. Nelson Eddy does a terrific job voicing everyone. So there we go. And so let's figure out what we're going to talk about next.
Yay, the random number generator.
We have we are going to be doing Bambi next.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, so that should be fun. We haven't done very many of those classics. Just Dumbo is the only one. Oh, and Snow White. So I had, in my last ranking, I actually had Make Mine Music at 29.
Okay.
I had Rescuers Down Under at 30. And I had Robin Hood at 28.
Nice. Okay. So, yeah, I see. I have it at number 47. I don't really love... I just don't really love the package films. And so at 46 for me is Sword in the Stone. 47 is Make Mine Music. 48 is Melody Time.
Oh, okay. So this one's ahead of Melody Time.
It's ahead of Melody Time, but actually I have, and I think it's because of Peter and the Wolf and the Whale. I wanted to sing in the net.
Yeah.
I just love those so much. It inched it above. But 49 for me then is Fun and Fancy Free. So they're all. I just have them all. Right. I'll have them all grouped together.
I have Melody Time at 32, and so I think this is the highest I have any of the package films, and this one is my favorite. Once we finish, we somehow have managed to not finish an era yet, despite us not having that many left. We still have holes in every single one. But yeah, I think that this one is my favorite, at least at the time of this ranking, is my favorite. I have Ichabod and Mr. Toad at 33. So close.
I should, yeah. See, I have mine. I have Ichabod and Mr. Toad at 29. So I should clarify that's my favorite package film for sure.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I have Winnie the Pooh at 7. So if you consider that a package film,
yeah,
but
that's a good point.
But yeah, I just really like it. I think it's so weird and so different, and I might have been giving it maybe a bit more credit than it deserves for being different. But especially after you finished a chronological, when you finished a chronological canon watch, something different feels very exciting.
Very exciting. I mean? Yeah, absolutely. It's energizing.
So that's I think that's part of the reason why it kind of got higher on my ranking than you might expect. But yeah, I've always appreciated that about it, that it's just kind of very experimental and bonkers, and it doesn't have any of the annoying narration to the attempts that Fun and Fancy Free has, which Fun and Fancy Free is at 51 in my ranking. Because the narration with the weird Edgar Bergen thing, and it just really ruins that one for me.
So messed up.
I really don't like it. And so anyway, it's interesting. So let us know, if you're listening, what you think of Make Mine Music. Is a favorite of yours? Do you think it's underrated, or have you never heard of it? Go check it out if you haven't, and let's all submit to Disney Plus to get it on Disney Plus.
Let's get it on Disney Plus.
And we'll be excited. Next month, we're going to be doing Bambi. So that'll be so fun. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks so much. And Stanford, where can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at Stanford Clark, and I have a movie podcast and blog at moviespastandpresent.com.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So make sure to check that out. We're doing a lot of reviews lately, so make sure to take a look at that. You can also find us at Disney Talking on Twitter, so make sure to check that out, and make sure you're following the Hallmarkies podcast. We're going to be doing so much stuff over there that this last week I got to interview Amy Winter, who is the head of programming and executive vice president at Lifetime channel. So that was very exciting. And so we're starting off our Christmas season, and it's going to be great. So make sure to check that out. All that information will be in the description. We also have our Patron group. If you want to get a chance to pick a film that we're going to talk about, like we did with Ratatouille, with Micah and his mom, Stacy. If you want that opportunity, then become a patron, and we'd be happy to do it, and it'll be really fun. And and check out our merch store. We have lots of fun holiday-inspired merch, other fun-inspired merch. Check that out. And thanks so much, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.